Hey everyone, Mac is back. Today I want to talk about a way to pick your, basically test your commanders and your formation without losing troops. So this is just a way to kind of mix and match your commanders that can help buff your troops, and which formations you can kind of change it back and forth to whatever works for best for you based on what your stats are, the level of your commanders, and kind of go from there. And then when you actually do get to actually fight, that you'll be actually maximizing your damage output. So let's get to it. So what we're going to be using is this Ryler's Trial, and essentially what you're going to do is try to keep your specific attributes that you have consistent and only change your commanders and formations. I think that's probably going to be the best way to be able to determine the most power that you can output depending on what you're facing. So what you want to do very first thing is you want to make sure that all your talents and your commander, so all your talents should be able to, you should never change this during this experimentation, this testing. And then here, keep your badges on or take them off, however you want to do it, but just make sure that you don't change this. And the only thing you're going to be changing is your lord that's in each formation. And if you have your castle, make sure that your castle is the skin is the same. It doesn't have to be a castle that you fight with. It can be any castle at all, because we're just looking for that consistency throughout. So as you can see here, I'm not going to mess with any of these. One of the biggest things to note is that you need to get through the entire 40 seconds of the battle. So don't go to, sit like for instance in my case, I want to go to level 30 and try to attack with this, whatever formation I want to use. I don't want to be able to do that, because if I do, say I'm going to lose all my troops, and if I go to the report and you check out the battle report, if I can't get to that 40 seconds before I die, and I actually do get that far, but at the same time I'm losing like almost everything. So it's really not worth it to to do that, because you want to see like just a full battle and kind of see what's going to transpire. So go to one of your last ones that you've got to be able to, you're able to get to 15 stars, and just click on that. And as you can see here, it's a spear infantry formation, and you can click on this little button here and it shows you what their stats are. Don't worry about adding or adding any of these covenant selections in there. We're not really worried about those. They have enough stats as it is with just this alone. So basically what we're going to do is we're gonna just experiment here. So we see it's an infantry, a spearman infantry formation. So it seems like a pure infantry attack would be great. So I would go to attack here, and you should already have some presets over here for what you're going to want to use. I have infantry here, so this is my basic infantry setup that I have. So I'll clear the selection here and I'll make everything on infantry. So as you can see, you actually kind of analyze this a little bit as well. So you can see all my commanders have level 10, so they're getting that extra bonus of troops. And my total troops here is just excuse me, over 815,000. So I'll go from there. I have all my troops in. Make sure you use the same dragon, or you take the dragon out, depending on how you want to do it. Now there is going to be a lot of, or not a lot of, but there's going to be a variance when it comes to some of these attacks, because of the commander's 4-star skills and some of the attacks as well. Because if, for instance, there's 2 troops that we're attacking here, and if say Layla is attacking an infantry troops, then she's going to do more damage than if she's attacking cavalry. So it's a little bit different. So I'll click this and it'll show, boom, there is that. We check the report and the damage. We're looking at the damage output. We're also looking at our own deaths as well. But basically the damage output here. So there's 1.2 million, and we killed over 751,000 of those troops. So that's the basic formation for that, the one that I used there. So 751,000 is what we're looking at. So now if I quit this and then I go back to 26 again, and then I still bring in the same thing, but then I kind of think, okay, well, I want to try to utilize Layla as much as possible. So I want to do an all-female lineup. So then I'll take out Julian, I'll take out Chris, and I could leave one of those in if I really wanted to. And now I'm looking for females that do damage for infantry. So if I look at Selma, she doesn't do that, so that's someone that I'm not going to want to put in there. Although having her in there isn't bad either. I don't say bad, but I mean you could experiment with it too, because she has total health, so she'll give the health a little health kick to the lineup, and her 4-star ability is actually really good, so she'll do some of that extra damage. Plus she's a female, so that's something we could put in there. So something else I want to look at is, let's see here, how about maybe Ray. Ray has infantry of 40% at 2 stars. What I have her, if I had her 3 stars, then maybe it'd be a little bit different. You get a little bit extra damage in there, so that's something else you want to look at. And then if we look at somebody else, so we'll try looking for female. Look, go to Annie again. So we'll try Annie. So we try this lineup here and just see what it does, and make sure you clear it out and you put in 815 again, so we're at the exact same number. And then we'll try it again. And this one looks to be 740. We were at 751, so it actually does less damage. So that's not the lineup that you're going to want to do against a formation that has this spear. What was that? Spear infantry. So that's something to consider, and you got to consider also that it's just because it's a spear infantry. Think about there's a 400,000 up front and 800,000 behind. So like if I try to do a pure cav formation on this one, like we can go ahead and try it. So we'll do a pure cav, clear that out, put this in 809,000. That's my general cav formation, and I'll probably get killed by those spears up front. Yeah, I didn't even get through, so I lost that way. See the defeat there? That's clearly you don't want to be doing that. But so these are just kind of different ways to experiment with this. And a last little tidbit to consider is just do a comparison. Compare a lineup of say 4 stars. So this one here, again, we're going to go like a pure infantry lineup. But go, I'll click on my infantry one. But try to get these commanders in here that aren't 4 stars, that are just like maybe pure stats, and to see how they work as well. The first thing I'll need to do definitely for this one is to change Layla out of there, because she's not a pure stat. I mean, she does have it. She has the cav health and the cav defense, but for this one we're going for infantry. So let me go switch her out and try another lineup. So this kind of lineup here is pretty decent, I think, for just looking for the stats and not worrying about that 4-star ability. You're still going to get it off with Arya and with Seg, and I think this is probably one of my strongest, just pure stats, because Seg is going to have about 40% total attack and 40% defense, with a little bit of health in there mixed in as well, and his passives, because he has the 3 stars. I was also considering Annie, and the reason I'm not putting Annie in instead of Seg is because we're actually attacking, we're going to be attacking infantry, and Annie, whenever she does do her just regular attack, she's going to be countered, so she's going to lose about 25% compared to what Seg would be able to do. So you definitely don't want to be having that kind of disadvantage in there. So I don't think this is going to be the best lineup, of course, but I just wanted to experiment with it. If you're a bow enthusiast, then you can just strictly go with your bows, and this is you can kind of see which commanders are better for you when you have them in there. And then look at your other ones. I don't have anything else that really is going to pop out at me. My main stats are going to be in the infantry here, so I just confirm that. And then we'll go with those infantry. Again, everybody's is level 10, so we're getting that maximum amount of troops in there, and then just go ahead and do it. And then you can see the report here is 735, so actually not too bad, a little better than I kind of expected. Not as good as what we previously saw there. And if you want to go look at your all your reports together, they are actually in here. So looking at them, you can see here that the one. Which one did we do first? We did this one here, which was 751, and then with this formation and these commanders, and then we switched it up, and then we got to 740, so we're getting worse and worse, and then that's 735, so didn't do very well at all. And as you can see here, this is where we changed it up and went with the cavalry, and it didn't, clearly was terrible because we lost. So I hope this gives you a little better idea, better stance on kind of this is how you want to test your formations out. And so once you find a solid formation for something, then save it. Go into your military training grounds and put those commanders together, and your whatever formation you want to use. Like saying here, I went pure infantry. Maybe you have maybe you want to change that up and back in the just looking back real quick at some of these other formations here. So like maybe this has a spear a spear cav there. So you could go for a pure spear here, or you could maybe throw spear in front with a little bit of infantry behind it to be able to take out these these spearmen a little bit more quickly. So it's just something to consider when you're looking at it. Like an inf cav, obviously a pure cav there is probably the best. But when you have one of those ones that like counters, then you can have a little bit. It can be a little bit more difficult to to get through. Like a cav infantry. If you go pure spear here, you're not going to get very far. If you go pure cav here, you're going to have to get through this cav first before you get to those infantry. So just something to consider. So until next time, Mac out.